Good morning and welcome to Chrisley Confessions 2.0. I'm Todd, and you know who this woman is.
Hi, I'm Julie.
How are you?
I'm good. You gone back to our original way that I tried to get you to do. We used to always do that.
I know, but I just get tired of the same old, same old. I mean, you know how I am. I like to mix things up.
Yeah.
So, I mean, but you look good today.
Thank you.
You look good today. We have survived the view.
Yes.
Folks,
Yes.
we survived the view.
Yes.
We talked about it last week.
Right.
And now this week we're back. So I think that Savannah did an amazing job.
She did.
I think she did
so
great.
good. She has to be super proud of herself and know that she did something that a lot of women much older than her would not have the guts to do.
But let me ask you something. What is it that you think that you bought into in your early, or in your younger days of being in your 20s,
right?
Or late teens, early 20s? What is it that you bought into then that you don't necessarily think works for you today?
I don't know that it's not necessarily works for me today, but I think, especially growing up in the South, Southern conservative, we'll just like that. You think, oh gosh, I'm gonna marry, I'm gonna have the 2.5 kids, I'm gonna, have the white picket fence, and I'm gonna not have to worry about anything. And, my husband's the leader of the family, which I still believe that, and I'm not gonna have to really worry about anything, and I'm gonna have my place, and I'm gonna do, no, that's not real life. I mean, that is just not real life. I don't think, or it's not for me.
But you had the 2.5 kids.
What do you mean?
You married, you had the 2.5 kids because one of them's got half a brain.
Right. Well, I'm just saying that, life has a way of, it's like a little girl. A little girl's like, oh my gosh, I'm going to get married and, I'm going to have this beautiful life and I'm going to travel and I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that. And then as you get into your 20s and your 30s and your 40s and your 50s, you see, all those things, all those beautiful things do happen, but there's a lot of crap that goes along with it.
Right.
And there's a lot of hard work that still has to be put in.
It reminds me of the song that K.T. Oslin's wrote and sang. We were the girls of the 50s, stone rock and rollers in the 60s, because things do change. I remember early on, like 14, maybe 15, that I really think that I really did have a lot of democratic opinions towards things. I did not believe in, because my dearest friend Stephanie, she dated interracially and had biracial children.
Right, but I don't think that's a democratic view.
It was a view that in the community that we grew up in, which was in your same community,
right,
that was viewed very negatively.
Right, negatively, but not politically.
In the community that you grew up in, folks, she acts like that she grew up in some metropolitan city because she claims Seneca, South Carolina. She lived in Townville, Crossroads, near a chicken shit facility or whatever. So you came from the same area that I did. You just don't want to claim Westminster as your place. In growing up, interracial mixing was a bad thing in our area. It was not something that people embraced. Well, when you started embracing that, the views that you had started shifting more from the conservative side to the more liberal side, because the whole liberal concept of thinking was to live and let live. You have the right to believe how you believe. Do what you want to do. Do what makes you happy. To where the conservative side, when I was growing up, it was fire and brimstone.
Right.
It was the Bible. It was, this is the way you're going to do it, and this is how you have to do it.
Right.
And I think I rebelled against that because I remember Stephanie and I writing letters to each other, and she would write me letters in school and put them in my little slot in my locker, and it would always be addressed to Todd Chrisley, penthouse so-and-so, Manhattan, New York, and whatever. And I'd always write her one night, address it to, whatever she was, the dream she had at the time. And we fed each other's dreams, but in a more liberal way of thinking. I had a more liberal way of thinking. It wasn't until after I had children that I started coming back to everything I had been brought up with and what my beliefs were. And I remember fighting with my mom and daddy, and I still do, I still do with mama about certain things, I don't believe that way. That's not how I feel.
Right.
I don't care what my friends do, and I don't care who they're sleeping with. They're still my friend.
Right.
Even though that went against the way that I was brought up.
Right.
So I think that from what you just said, that the rose-colored glasses are shattered. Mm-hmm. Life has a way of doing that for you, and it opens your eyes to a whole new world or a whole new way of thinking, or maybe if it's not a whole new way of thinking, of maybe thinking differently.
Right.
And you and I have had the great fortune of living in many areas and been surrounded by so many different walks of life. And I think that has been very good for us, and it's been very good for our children, because we haven't been so closed-minded.
Right.
We've had the experience of so many different experiences in life of the way people live that's different than the way that we live.
Right.
And I feel like that we are better for that.
Right.
And so my point in talking about Savannah being on The View and you bringing all of these liberal women at that table, and you got one conservative, you don't get anywhere that way. You don't get anywhere when you've got 4 or 5 liberals and one conservative. In my opinion, you need to have a better mix than that. You need to have more conservative views at that table.
Right. And
in order to make change, the same as in government. Mm-hmm. I don't believe that we should be a party of one. Right. I mean, I don't think that, like what's going on in Virginia right now, where they're trying to redistrict to where they're literally trying to knock it down to having one Republican seat for the state. Well, I was looking at that this morning, and the voters there are saying no.
Right.
They're saying no, we don't want that. Regardless of what the parties are, we don't want one party controlling.
Right.
And I don't agree, and I've said this for many years, and you know where I stand on what I'm getting ready to say. I don't agree with everything that the Republican Party says and does. And I certainly don't agree with everything the Democratic Party says and does.
Right.
Until we get to a place to where everyone can be respectful of other people's opinions. You know yourself, I argue with our kids over certain things that they say and how they feel about certain things. And I say, what are you thinking? What are you talking about? You can't feel that way. That's not how you've been brought up. But then I realized that it doesn't matter how they've been brought up. It's how they feel.
Right.
And I think that goes back to how I was at 14 or 15.
Right.
How I was brought up was not the way I felt at 14 or 15.
Right.
Because I wanted to do what I wanted to do.
Right.
And
that's what most people want.
There you go. There you go. And I just don't think that we have caught so much flack for not the pardon, not for anything that we've said or done, but because of who has signed our pardon. And, you kissed the ring. You worship the king. Who did your daughter sleep with to get the pardons? Oh, your daughter paid $1 million apiece for the pardons. None of that was true.
Right.
None of that was true.
Right.
And, after The View, I received so many negative messages. I have been a loyal fan of y'all's since your show first aired. And I don't understand, Mr. Chrisley, how you can allow your daughter to say and do the things that she says and does, because it's her voice. It's how she feels. Do Savannah and I agree on everything? That we don't agree on everything. Right. And she gets mad sometimes.
Right. But Savannah's a 28-year-old woman.
Right.
So it's not up to you to say how she feels or to dictate what she says.
No, because when you're saying that, aren't you going against one of the core things that the Democratic side fights for? Yeah. A woman to have an independent voice. But then you're messaging me telling me I should stifle my daughter's voice,
Right.
which I would never do even if I could. But Savannah and I don't agree on everything. And you know how she said to me a week or two ago, there was an article that came out and it said that I would love to have a seat at the dinner table and hear the conversations between Todd and Savannah, because I feel like that he doesn't believe the same way she believes. And I said to Savannah, I said, why do you think that is? She said, because you ride the fence. Now, you know, I've never ridden the fence. I've always been very clear on where I stand, but I don't feel a need to go out here and use my political views to...
Well, I think it's not about riding the fence. I think if you're being 100% honest, it's about that you don't believe every single thing that a right-wing Republican believes, and you don't believe everything that a left-wing Democrat believes. You are more in the middle.
I am.
So that doesn't mean you're necessarily riding the fence.
It just means this is where I've landed.
This is where you've landed. And it is what it is. These days, I'm all about quality over quantity, especially in my closet. If it's not well made and versatile, well, it's just not worth it to me. That's honestly why I love Quince. The fabrics feel elevated, the cuts are thoughtful, and the pricing actually makes sense. Quince makes high-quality wardrobe staples using premium fabrics like 100% European linen, 100% silk, and organic cotton poplin. Lightweight cotton cashmere sweaters, perfect for the changing seasons, and can't miss seasonal colors and prints for spring. Versatile, well-made pieces that make getting dressed simple. Quince uses 100% European linen. Their cotton poplin is crisp and holds its shape. The gauze is soft without feeling flimsy. Everything Quince makes is built to hold up season after season. They're pieces you'll reach for over and over. And I am actually loving Quince's 100% European linen shirt dress. It's super comfortable, great fit, great style. I just love the look of it. And it's something that you can wear over and over. I have talked about my Quince pieces in the past and how they are pieces that get you through from season to season and that can be worn season after season, which I absolutely love. Right now, go to quince.com/Chrisley for free shipping and 365-day return. That's a full year to wear it and love it. And you will. Now available in Canada too. Don't keep settling for clothes that don't last. Go to quince.com/Chrisley for free shipping and 365-day returns. Quince.com/Chrisley. Okay, I want to take a minute to share something really important to me, and that's Good Girl RX, a female-focused health and wellness company created by my daughter, Savannah. As women, we so often put everyone else first and ignore our own health, or we're just told to push through instead of being truly listened to. What I love about Good Girl RX is that it's built around real medical care and compassion. Through their telehealth platform, women can meet virtually with licensed medical providers who take the time to review your health history and goals. If it's clinically appropriate, your provider may discuss personalized treatment options, including GLP-1 medications like tirzepatide, as well as wellness therapies such as NAD. Everything is determined by a doctor and tailored to the individual. As a mother, it means everything to me that this company was created to help women feel supported instead of judged. Everyone's journey is different. Results vary, and not everyone qualifies, but having access to licensed physicians who truly listen can make all the difference. If you're ready to take a step toward prioritizing your health, visit goodgirlrx.com and use code CONFESSIONS15 for 15% off at checkout. Medical care is provided by licensed physicians.
Are there things that I believe in that you don't feel as strongly about, or do you believe that we are further apart on our political views?
No, I don't think we're further apart. No, I don't think we're further apart at all.
Because I feel like that, you know.
And this is my thing. I'm 53 years old, so I'm at a completely different place than where Savannah is or you are. I'm a 53-year-old woman. I don't feel a need to be defined by my political beliefs on everything.
I love that.
I want you to look at me and say, you know what? She's a great friend. You know, she treats me with respect. You know, Julie's always there if I need her. Not she views things this way or that way. I just don't feel that needy. I don't feel that need. That's not something in me that I feel like I have to constantly, voice, or I have to constantly, I think, judge me by the way I act. Judge me by the way you see me every single day treat you and other people.
Well, don't you find it, I mean, in what you said there, it's just it's what you just said really it is a powerful thinking point, because if you want people to judge you based off of how you treat them, how you make them feel, always showing up, but yet the Democrats want to talk about racism and, that being racially profiled and whatever. But don't you think that that's the same thing, just in a different way, that someone's viewing you as a Republican, so they're discriminating against you before they even talk to you?
Oh, absolutely. I think people make, and that's with I don't feel like that's just a political thing. I think people make assumptions. People make assumptions based off how you look. People make assumptions based off your age. People make assumptions based off of where you live, off of where you come from, off of the color of your skin, off of where you go to church. Everyone
has an opinion about everything.
Making assumptions about everything.
Well, I think that, when you talk about racial discrimination, you also have political discrimination.
Right. There's all kinds of discrimination.
And so all of our friends that are African American and that are of color, whether Hispanic or Puerto Rican, whatever.
Yes, there is racism.
They all know that there is racism.
Yes.
But and I've had these conversations, but they don't feel today that it's about racial discrimination. They feel today it's about political discrimination, that you're using the race card to further your agenda on the Democratic side, to act like that you're working for the downtrodden. Well, none of our African American friends are downtrodden. We know a lot of black people. We don't have one token black friend. And none of the women of color that run our show, they would never tell you that they're downtrodden, or that
they would never tell you they're downtrodden, but they would tell you there's definitely racism.
But we know that. That's
right.
That's not what I'm saying.
Right.
But until we stop allowing our country to use that as an excuse for bad behavior, it'll continue.
Right.
You can't.
I agree. But that goes with everything. You have people that say, "Well, I come from a divorced family, so that gives me the right to do this. This happened to me, so that gives me the right to do this. I had this unfair shake at life, so it gives me the right to do this." Yes, I think people try to justify their behavior, justify their bad behavior or bad decisions any way they can.
Well, you look for anything to put to blame other than your own judgment.
Right.
But I've received so many messages about, you are raising a black daughter.
Right.
How can you condone, a pedophile, a rapist, whatever? I'm like, what are you talking about? What are you talking about? We are raising Chloe as our child. She's being brought up to love and respect and to be a good, decent human being.
Right.
No, we're not saying to her every day, you are a black girl.
We're not.
You're a white girl.
But I also have hard conversations with her that, yes, honey, you are white, you are half white, you are half black. When you are driving in a car at 16 and you get pulled over and they call in, they will say, "I have an African-American 16-year-old girl here."
That's right.
So I have very much told her that.
And that's right. But she's known that since she started therapy, since she was 4 years old.
Right.
We have stressed who she is. But what people forget is that she's a child of God first. Stop worrying about whether or not she knows that she has a African-American mother.
Right.
Worry about what kind of faith
she has an African-American Biological mother.
Biological mother, exactly, because you are her mother. But what I'm saying is that genetically speaking, she genetically has an African American mother.
Yes.
And what we're sitting here teaching her is about God, about family, about being kind, generous, considerate. Those are the things that we teach her. And and the way that we're bringing her up is working, because look at how they talk about her at school. Look at how people say that she's not for conflict, that she tries to tone that down, that she's the one they come and pull out of class because she's the new friend when someone comes into the school new.
Right.
How she's so kind and considerate. That's what we're raising. So if you need to put her in your box to say she's Black, and then this box says how many people do we get that message us and say, what are you teaching Chloe about her Hispanic culture?
Oh, yeah. Right.
We're not, because she's not Hispanic. All of these things that we get are just so bizarre. And then you go on their page, the people that saying it always have a fucking nose ring in. I don't know what the hell the deal. Stop coming at me if you've got piercings in your nose, because I'm not responding to you. It's either that or their hair is purple. They have ruined me on the color purple. Mm-hmm. They've got their hair dyed purple. They got a damn nose ring in. One of them had a bone, like what you'd see in the Flintstones back in the day. And she had a bone in her nose.
That was in her hair.
No, the bone I don't give a shit. I know they had a bone. This one had a bone in her nose.
Right.
I'm not responding to you. Something's wrong with you. But that's the people that's responding. Now, I have had a lot of Black women that have come at me since The View. And I will tell you, in all honesty, I've had maybe 3 or 4 that were just ignorant in their responses or in their statements. But for the majority of them, they were educated, unlike Gavin Newsom saying that, or insinuating that Blacks can't read, and that they have low SAT scores. They were very thought-provoking. A lot of the messages that I got were very thought-provoking. Mm-hmm. And I actually talked to Chloe day before yesterday. I said, I read this one to her, and she goes, we don't think that way. I said, no, but how does it make you feel to know that we're not doing something or doing something that makes people think that? And she goes, well, that's their opinion. She said, I don't live my life to please everyone else. I live my life to please God and my family and myself. And I said, well, let's try to do it God, yourself, and your family. Mm-hmm. So I've received a lot of that, and I respond to them. I can pull up on my phone right now and show you the messages that I've responded to them on Instagram, because I want the world to know where we stand as a family. We are for the people. We are people for the people.
Well, I think, you have people come at you, and like you said, I don't read comments, so I don't do that.
If you're trying to insult Julie on social media,
don't waste your time.
You've wasted your time, because she don't even know. She can't hardly get on social media, so she's certainly not looking for your comments.
I'm not looking at I'm just not. Mm-hmm. I've never done that since day one.
Well, you're healthier than we are. You're stronger mentally than we are.
I think, though, you have to look at it that we are raising another child. Mm-hmm. Are we perfect parents? No. There's no such thing as a perfect parent. Mm-hmm. We're on number 6. Mm-hmm. And I will sit here today and be completely honest and say, am I the perfect parent? No, I'm not. I'm not the perfect parent. But I can tell you that I love her unconditionally, that she is my child, that I'm never going to do anything ever to harm her in any way. Now, I'm sure they've all gone to therapy and said we've caused some harm to them, but that's just part of being a parent.
Right.
It is what it is.
Right.
I'm not going to knowingly do that. Mm-hmm. So take race, take political views, take it all out. At the end of the day, I'm her mother. Mm-hmm. I'm going to always be her mother till the day that I die. I will be her mother. And that's not going to change. Mm-hmm. And I have continued to raise her just as I raised the other children. Mm-hmm. So whether you like it or whether you don't,
we don't give a shit.
It is, she is my child. So,
well, I feel like that, we are.
I listened to, she was on Savannah's podcast, and there was actually some lady called, I guess Savannah had people like write in or whatever, like questions for Chloe, and someone had asked like about her hair. Like, how do they make you feel about your hair?
Now you're focusing as a woman of color about her hair, not her heart.
Right. How do they make you feel about your hair? And she said,
they being family.
Right. And Chloe said, first of all, I like my hair, but my hair's a lot of work. Okay, it is. Mm-hmm. Her hair is a lot of work. It's a lot of work. And she's a 13-year-old girl. And there are days that she cares about it. There are days that she doesn't. Mm-hmm. That has nothing to do. I see every race of child, mm-hmm. and sometimes they look like they just crawled out of the bed, right. and their hair looks a mess. Mm-hmm. So, okay.
I love the fact that she can just pull her hair up in a bun.
And she said,
and she's happy.
My parents really want me to wear my hair curly and down. I don't want to. Mm-hmm. So that's a decision that she's making. Right. So it's one of these things where you're damned if you do and you're damned if you don't. We want her to wear her hair natural, embrace her curls, embrace her texture, mm-hmm. embrace it all. Mm-hmm. She wants to wear her hair up. So we would be damned if we tried to stifle her and said, oh no, you have to wear your hair this certain way. We let her choose. When she goes to have her hair done, if she wants to wear her hair curly, she does. If she wants them to blow it out straight, they blow it out straight. You know me. I don't care about hair anyway. I'll let you do whatever you want to do.
I'm tougher on her with her hair,
right?
Because I don't want I do have so many black women friends that have kind of guided us on that process, and so I don't want her putting a lot of heat on it,
right?
But she is 13 now.
Right. And it's like
she's
what
making
I'm saying,
these decisions of how she wants to look and what she feels the most comfortable
I'm doing
with.
the same thing as what I did with Grayson. Grayson, at that age, he wanted a mullet.
We survived the mullet. We'll survive the issues with Chloe's hair. Right, me too.
I let him do it because that's what he wanted. So it's like, it's the same thing. Mm-hmm. It's no different. I'm not like, oh my gosh, she is biracial, so I'm going to do this. No, and she's my child.
And how many times did I get on, Lindsay and Savannah, they wanted perms. They wanted to have a body weight put in their hair. Mm-hmm. I said, you're not putting chemicals on your hair.
Right.
We didn't go that route.
Highlights, low lights,
exactly.
whatever.
And I fought against all of that until they got older, until you finally said, Todd.
Right.
Leave them alone. They're growing up.
Savannah went, she cut all of her hair off. Then she went and had extensions. Okay, whatever. Just do whatever you want to do.
But the thing about it is that it's like you said, you're damned if you do and damned if you don't, because you're never going to please everyone. But here's the issue, and not even an issue. Here's the blessing for us and the issue for the haters. We don't give a shit what you think. You don't pay for a hair appointment. You don't pay to feed, clothe my child. You do nothing other than make a comment. And your comment does not matter to us. If she wants to wear it straight, she's going to wear it straight. If she wants to wear it curly, she's going to wear it curly. If she does not listen to me and she ends up at 20 years old and her forehead is back here in the middle of her head, it will not be because I didn't tell her to stop pulling her hair back. So, that pretty much covers that, right? Yeah. Do you not hear me say to her, stop pulling your hair back?
Right.
You're breaking it off. Stop.
Right.
And what does she say to me? Leave me alone.
Right.
Leave me alone.
Yeah. So, okay.
So I'm going to leave her alone. I'm going to let her have a forehead all the way here into the top of her head. And then when she's having to sew something in, that'll be on her. But so Grayson is doing really well in school.
Yes.
He's doing so good. And so I'm so happy for that. He'll be coming in on March the
1st of March.
1st of March, sometime 1st of March, to do the new podcast, Me, Two Sons and Me. And we've got a teaser coming out for that I think in the next week. I'm excited about him for that. He really is stepping into who he is. Do you not see it more every day?
I do see it more every day, but I've been seeing it. I feel like Grayson's been that way for a while. Like, I see it.
He is so wise beyond his years, because I was showing you a thing that he sent me this morning, that he sent me. And it was a thing,
Kevin
Hart was talking about it, and Grayson found it online and he sent it to me. And Kevin Hart was talking about that, you build resentment and you become angry in your life when all the people that you love the most are the ones that take the most. They don't ever give back. And they always see you as the one that they can dump all their shit on because you'll take care of it while they get to live freely. But you're sitting there constantly dealing with that. And even though you're full, you still have to keep eating because it still keeps piling up on the table. Mm-hmm. And he sent that to me. And he said, when I saw this, I realized this is how Dad must feel all the time. Mm-hmm. And that hit me so hard because I even talked to you about this morning. That hit me so hard that my son felt that way about that. And it in a way that I felt like that I was almost ashamed because I was like, well, have I not been good enough at hiding it? Or have I just been too, am I showing that or whatever? And then I kept watching it and then I internalized it and I realized that everything that was being said was true.
Right.
That if you literally are the person, and Savannah has this same issue. Savannah and I, we try to be fixers. We're constantly, whatever the problem is, we take it on and we're going to fix it. You and Chase, and for some parts, Grayson, y'all are the ones that want to bring your baggage in and drop it off like it's a laundromat. And then me and Savannah standing there in the laundromat sorting out the shit. That does build resentment. And I think that for me, when I watch that and I've been thinking about it, the role of a father and of a husband is to deal with the shit. Because you're the head of the household.
Right.
So you are supposed to take care of your family. But I think that role gets to be, you got to be very careful with that role, that the head of the household doesn't become resentful.
Right.
Of having to do everything, of having to be the one that has to step in, even though you warn someone and say, don't go do that. And they do it. And then there's no consequence for them because you're the one having to clean it up.
Right.
I think that's where a lot of my resentment has come from. Because I
think a lot of your resentment came from the fact too, that you were a control freak to a certain degree. Mm-hmm. So you took it on because you wanted to control the outcome,
right,
or control the fixing or control whatever happened. Mm-hmm. So there was this constant push and pull within you because you were this person that wanted to control everything. And so in order for you to control everything, everybody brings everything to you.
Right.
And then then you resent it. But then there was a part of you that really wants to control it. So it's this constant
you had said,
push and pull.
Well, you had said to me months ago, you're different. You looked at me and
right.
said, you're a different person.
Right.
And I took that. I mean, I know you didn't intend that as a compliment. I took it for me internally as a compliment.
Right.
Because I didn't want to be the same. I don't think you can be the same. You're not the same person that you were before you went to prison.
Right.
And I don't think you can go to prison and come out and be the same person. And if you did, there's a problem.
Right.
There's a problem.
For sure.
So when people look at us and say, oh, well, they just picked right back up where they left off,
right.
House, cars, clothes, traveling, they've just picked right back up where they left off. That's not true.
No.
That's just not true. My mindset is so different today. And I look at where we are with our children and where you and I are as a married couple, that we have to evolve. We have to constantly be evolving. And the irony of it is that you used to say, I can't wait until the last one graduates, and then it's just going to be me and Todd. I'll be cooking for two. We'll go out to dinner. We'll get on the plane. We'll travel. We'll do whatever. And now that I've embraced that, you have gone opposite of that. But Todd, we're never going to have that. That's never going to happen. We have too many children for that to happen. We have grandchildren. We're going to have grandchildren. And so I think that we've done kind of a flip-flop there. And why do you think that's the case?
I don't know. Well, I think because we still have a child. Mm-hmm. So, we still have a child that we're raising. Mm-hmm. And so I just think that it's easier said than done. I think.
Well, it's not until you do it.
Adult
it is
children have adult problems. And I think.
But here's the thing. You don't get to say adult children have adult problems and then look at me and tell me, but Todd, they're grown. If you are grown, then you get to accept responsibility for your own shit. I'm not picking it up for you. I'm not cleaning it up.
But that's not true. You do.
What do I do? Who am I doing that with?
You do.
You're talking about another situation.
You still do. And that's okay.
I help those that need help.
Right. You're starting to sound like your mother. She always says they ask her who her favorite is, and she says whoever needs me the most.
And you know what? I'm going to tell you something right now. The older that I get, the smarter that my mother becomes. And that is the God's honest truth, because I feel that more today. Mm-hmm. I feel that more today than I have ever felt it in my life. Because when you have 3 that are doing great and you have 2 that's not doing great, or 4 that's doing great and 1 that's not, if 1 is drowning and 4 have reached the shore, as a parent, you're supposed to be saving the one that's struggling and get them to the shore. Mm-hmm. And you shouldn't have 4 sitting on the shoreline saying, can you believe he's going to save him? Why didn't he swim the same way we did? He got swimming lessons when he was 3 too. That's what you live with.
I think that's just the normal.
But that's not
reaction.
Something that you can do with me.
No, but it is the normal reaction. Because it makes me resentful
when I have anyone that I'm helping, and then someone else is sitting up here and has everything, and this person has nothing, and I'm helping them, and then you're resentful because I'm helping them.
Right.
You should be ashamed. You should be.
I know, but from their perspective, they look at, okay, I did everything the right way, and I got out here and I worked and I did this.
Right.
But yet you're just handing this one.
But don't you think that as a parent raising a child, if you've got an overachiever here that's doing great, that child should be thanking God they're not in the other child's situation.
They should. But I think a lot of times it's hard to see that.
And how many times do you hear me say
maturity and
how many times do you hear me say to our children when they start that bitching, rather than worry about what he or she is doing, be grateful you're not in the same situation.
Right.
So,
But I talk to people all the time, and it's like universal. The conversations and the things that we just talked about, I think most people have those conversations.
Well,
they're always like, he's always helping her, or he's always helping him.
But look at it. Chase says that about Savannah. Savannah says that about Chase.
Grayson says it about both of them.
Exactly. And Grayson, I still message him 3 times a day telling him how to wipe his ass. He sends me a message, Dad, it would be amazing if I had this. What do I tell you to do?
Get it.
Julie, have this mailed to him. Mm-hmm. I'm not having shit mailed to Savannah. I'm not having stuff mailed to Chase. So every one of them have been catered to.
Yeah.
All 6 of them have been catered to.
Yes, they have.
But my thing is, going back to my mother, God bless her, because she is one of the most decent human beings I've ever known in my life. But when she says, when people say, who do you love the most? She says, the one that needs me the most right then.
Mm-hmm. I literally was talking to a friend of mine in Atlanta, and she said, the kids always accuse me of having a favorite. And she said, I always say, after Nanny Faye's book, I'm taking a chapter out of her book. It's whoever needs me the most that day.
And you know what? As a parent, you want to be needed. I want you to need me less and less as I get older, because I'm going to start making it more about me. But I want to help our children, and I want to always be there for them. Our door is always open to them. I want to give them advice based off of what I know about the situation at hand. And I want them to always feel loved and heard and seen. but our children have reached the age at this point to where their bad decisions are their bad decisions.
Most of them, yes. Yeah.
And
you got to give Chloe and Gray.
Well,
Chloe for sure. And Gray.
Grayson's still on the line because he's still got a lot to learn.
Yes.
I mean, although Grayson is 19 and is truly one of the smartest children that we have, Grayson has been so sheltered.
Right.
Not just by me and you, but by Savannah. And by really Savannah.
Yeah.
And he didn't come to us for spring break, because he wanted to go out of the country.
Mm-hmm.
And folks, I'm always the last to know, but always the first to pay. He was talking to me the other night, and he let something slip that I'm sure you already know that you have not shared with me.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, you do. Because he informed me where he was staying and that Savannah had taken care of his trip.
Yes.
And he says, and your mom took care of my flights.
Mm-hmm.
And I said,
A flight.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I said, oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
But you didn't come to tell me that.
No, I didn't.
So, folks, she's trying her best to get back to a federal prison because I'm going to prosecute her ass for stealing.
No, it actually wasn't. I actually used a credit I had on Southwest.
Oh, but who paid for you to get the credit?
You're right.
So
but
you stole.
No, I didn't steal.
Just on this podcast, I need you to say.
No, I'm not.
That you deferred credits that I paid for.
I don't know if you
Miss
paid for them or not.
Miss Chrisley, no. I need for you to answer the question.
It was a credit in Southwest under my name. I transferred it to my son.
Miss Chrisley,
no.
Who paid for you to get the credit?
It might have been my half. I don't know.
No, what? Yeah, you know exactly what it is.
Yeah.
You're still under oath, and you're gonna pay me.
No,
I'll take you as a small claims court.
Go ahead.
But
it will be like them people that went to small claims court dressed alike.
Go ahead. We'll both show up in orange.
Sent them
home. But at the end of the day, Grayson is catered to.
Yes, he is very much so.
And I don't mind doing it because he does what he's supposed to do. And he's not giving me any issues.
Right.
He's not showing up in the press. He's not doing anything bad. I'm sure he's whoring around. I'll put that out there because I know that he's a Chrisley and we've all been whores. But he is not doing anything that's coming home to us.
Yes.
No parents calling us. Nothing's in the news. The school's not saying there's an issue. So as long as he's keeping it the way that it is, then I'm okay with it.
Right.
Chase is doing great. That's who she's really throwing shade at, by the way.
No, I'm not. And don't even say that, because then he'll say, you're talking about me on the podcast.
But you do think that I cater to him, you and Savannah. Y'all both say that, go kiss his ass, go baby him.
Yeah, you do.
Y'all do say that. But as I said, I'm going to deal with the one that needs me the most. As my mother says, and she to the world can say no wrong. The one that needs it the most is the one I'm going to help right at the time.
Gotcha.
And I'm going to continue to do that. And how many times have I told you that?
Yeah.
So we understand where we stand, right?
We understand.
So we understand where we stand. So I have asked for Aaron to get this Vanessa Marin, who's a sex therapist. She was on Sean Ryan's podcast. And so I'm at the gym and everyone's always saying to me, you've got to go on Sean Ryan's podcast. And I'm like, who is that? Because I don't know a lot about who's doing what because I might stay in my lane. And so she's going to come on because they were telling me at the gym yesterday when I was working out that, and these were guys that one was like 34, one was like my age, and then Gunner. And they were saying that she like literally put it out there that what men don't know how to do. And I'm like, I kind of feel like I do. But if she can teach me something new, I'm open for something new at 57. But I'm like, I'm not quite sure how Julie's going to feel about this.
Yeah, you might do that one when I'm filming.
No, we're doing this together. Because like one of the things is that she says, you don't have to rub the chrome off of it.
Okay, let's save that for her. Let's just table this and save
folks,
it.
This is what I'm saying. I do not have a Dr. Ruth sitting that I'm married to. You are very prudish when it comes to stuff like that. You don't, and I say that in a respectful way.
Our marriage,
you are not that kind of person.
I don't talk about things like that.
Right. But you're going to have to in this podcast.
I'll talk what I want to talk.
Well,
now it's 2026.
You're going to talk about rubbing the chrome off of it.
On that note,
you do understand that in order for us to evolve, you have to be more open about things. You have to be more comfortable about things. You have to be more educated about things.
Okay, you do whatever you want.
So we're going to be introducing certain products on this podcast. We're going to be introducing certain products on this podcast that married couples have in their bedrooms.
Okay, wrap this up.
Well, on that note, we will be, folks, having a guest on who is an authority on sex within the marriage and how to maintain a healthy relationship with your spouse. And Miss Julie is going to be very involved in that conversation.
Julie will be as involved as she wants to be.
Which is going to be a lot.
Yeah, on that note.
So on that note, until next week, start researching the chrome part.